All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Wednesday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. Lots to get to today. And, of course, the breaking news. And, you know, it's no surprise. It would be a news story and a surprise, and it would warrant our entire show if Dzhokhar Tsarnaev was found not guilty on one or more of the 30 counts against him. He was found guilty on all 30 counts. 11 and a half hours of deliberation. They did have questions for the judge. The jury did. They submitted them late yesterday afternoon. He answered them this morning, and boom, they came up with their verdict. And it's the right verdict. It's the just verdict. I mean, how else do would you come up with this verdict? 4 people dying at, 3 at the massacre, then Officer Sean Collier they killed afterward, and you had more than 260 people injured. What else are you going to do? Guilty, guilty, guilty. Now comes the sentencing phase, still yet to be determined date. The jury will reconvene, and they will decide whether he gets life in prison or whether he is put to death. And look, the only just punishment for this punk is to be put to death. I'd like it to be a slow death. I'd like to see him. I can't say it because, but let's see how his victims died. And let's let him die a similar death to how his victims died. How would he like that? That's the appropriate way to put him to death. But we'll see if the jury even gives him death. I think even one person saying no will be the determining factor. So we'll wait. We'll see. Justice has been served. Now, I want to show you a video. And watch this video. You've probably seen it by now, maybe not. All right, what you're watching is police officer, patrolman Michael Slager in South Carolina. He shot and killed an unarmed black man who was running away from him, shot 8 shots at him. He's been charged with murder. He's been denied bail. I think that's a just procedure that's been followed. The Justice Department's going to investigate, which I think is appropriate. He had claimed in a report before this video surfaced that there was a struggle for his taser and that the guy took his taser. Now, if the guy had his taser and was running away, I don't know what the law is in South Carolina, but there's fleeing felon, where you consider him a danger to, as an officer, to yourself or to the public, that if he had gotten away with the taser or even turned around and tried to shoot it at the officer. But I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying we saw the video from where you saw the video, basically. Then we saw the aftermath, where some say it looks like the cop walked away from the body after he handcuffed it, which I'm told is proper procedure, and then picked up something and then placed it down on the ground by the victim, by the person who was shot. And by the way, I should give you his name. As soon as I get it here, I will give it to you. My fault here. Walter Scott, 50 years old. He had a bunch of children. But there is some speculating that in the report he said that the guy took the taser, and then to make it look that way, he went and got the taser, which fell, and then he put it by the body. I don't know if that's true. Time will tell. But this is how the system is supposed to work if we see something like this. Okay. Next, I want you to hear Dick Cheney. He did an interview with Hugh Hewitt on the radio, and he was talking about Obama.
Mr. Vice President, or does he have a far-reaching vision that only he entertains of a realigned Middle East, that somehow it all works out in the end?
I don't know, Hugh. I vacillate between the various theories I've heard, but if you had somebody as president who wanted to take America down, who wanted to fundamentally weaken our position in the world, reduce our capacity to influence events, turn our back on our allies, and encourage our adversaries, it would look exactly like what Barack Obama is doing. I think his actions constitute, in my mind, those of the worst president we've ever had.
I will agree. Worst president I've ever seen, even worse than Jimmy Carter. Does he want to take America down? Is he calculating to weaken America? It's hard to argue with the vice president. It really is, because either Barack Obama is the biggest failure as President of the United States, when it comes to our foreign policy, when it comes to our domestic policy, he's either the biggest failure and totally inept and totally incompetent and pretty much not smart, or he's dumb like a fox, and you ain't seen nothing yet. And he is fundamentally changing America, and he's fundamentally changing the Middle East and the rest of the world. And he bashes Christians on purpose, and he defends Islamists on purpose. You decide. We're coming back with Tom Tancredo. Don't go away.